From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
President Trump signs an executive order after Congress fails to repeal Obamacare. How this could affect your health care.
Plus, Arizona's stepping up to help as California faces some of the worst wildfires in its history.
And we sit down with Sheriff Paul Penzone, how the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office is moving forward and out of Arpaio's shadow.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Lysandra Marquez.
And I'm Blake McHugh. Thank you for joining us. President Trump taking matters into his own hands after Congress tried and failed to replace and repeal Obamacare. The president signed an executive order this morning to make lower premium insurance plans available to more Americans. But critics worry that this will save money by cutting benefits, and it would allow younger, healthier people to buy less coverage, which raises premiums for those who need more care. Arizona Representative Raul Grijalva took to Twitter, sounding off against the president's order, saying the president is sabotaging American lives as he works to undo the Affordable Care Act. Trump will still need Congress to repeal the Affordable Care Act if he wants to see Obamacare gone. But any changes from today's executive order could take 6 months or more to take effect.
Fire crews here in Arizona are heading to Northern California to help fight the deadly blazes that have been raging since Sunday. Reporter Sydney Eisenberg explains why this request is different from past fire seasons.
Help was deployed last night and this morning from the Arizona Department of Forestry and Fire Management Dispatch Center to help fight the fires burning up in Northern California.
This is definitely not unusual. What kind of is unusual is the amount of resources that they did request.
The Arizona Department of Forestry and Fire Management sent out 150 firefighters, as well as 55 fire engines and trucks similar to this one right here, to help battle the blaze in California.
They'll patrol the neighborhoods. They'll provide initial attack protection as far as, watering down the grounds, trying to keep the fire at bay.
8,000 firefighters are currently tackling the 22 fires burning in Northern California. At least 29 people have died and 20,000 were forced to evacuate. The fires have burned more than 190,000 acres of land. In Phoenix, Sydney Eisenberg, Cronkite News.
The California wildfires come just weeks after the Gulf Coast and Puerto Rico were ravaged by hurricanes, and recovery is a slow and expensive process. The U.S. House of Representatives passed a $36.5 billion disaster relief package today, but not all lawmakers support the decision. Republican Congressman Andy Biggs posted a video on Facebook saying he voted against the bill because of its contribution to the national debt, including bailing out homeowners who continue to build in floodplains. President Trump also concerned about providing relief to Puerto Rico, tweeting, "We cannot keep FEMA, the military and first responders who have been amazing under the most difficult circumstances in Puerto Rico forever."
Lawmakers are also responding to the tragedy in Las Vegas, where more than 50 people were shot at and killed at a music festival less than 2 weeks ago. Representatives from Connecticut and Nevada are introducing the Keep Americans Safe Act. The bill would prohibit the transfer and possession of magazines that can hold more than 10 rounds of ammunition.
People who like to target shoot may soon have new areas open up to their sport. Cronkite News reporter Holly Bernstein went down to Tucson to see what this means for public lands.
The Department of the Interior issued an order to expand access for hunting, fishing, and recreational shooting on public land by January 13, 2018. Thomas WACKER has been a shooter for decades.
I grew up in southwest Nebraska, where people hunt on all their days off. I mean, that's the thing we do.
He's out at the Coronado National Forest, target shooting in preparation for a deer hunt. It's allowed there, but rules are different depending on what type of land you're on.
The national park is extremely restrictive in terms of uses, whereas the forest bills itself as the land of many uses.
But the new order from Interior Secretary Ryan Zink would expand the areas where recreational shooting is allowed and asks agencies to evaluate their own areas.
It may not be appropriate in all cases, and the agencies will have to make that determination on their own. But he wanted it opened up for the largest range of public uses.
Hart emphasizes safety when it comes to recreational shooting.
Safety first, eye protection, ear protection, making sure that other standers by are behind the muzzle, and clearly the intent to police up whatever they've brought out here to use as targets.
But Tom Hannigan, the president of Friends of Ironwood Forest, a nonprofit organization that works to protect the monument, says recreational shooting can get in the way of other uses of public land.
There's probably a list of 20 things I could go through that are uses of the monument, and they're all somewhat in danger if target shooting is taking place.
According to Hannigan, recreational shooters have used plants on the monument as targets and have left behind various personal targets as well.
I've been on work details where we've had to clean up after recreational shooters and found everything from glasses and bottles to TV sets and one refrigerator.
WACKER says he is for recreational shooting on public land, but says people should be responsible.
I think people should be held accountable for leaving their trash here, which they should not do, but they do anyway.
Cronkite News reached out to the Bureau of Land Management for comment, but they say it is too early to discuss the secretarial order. Holly Bernstein, Cronkite News.
With so much controversy surrounding former Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio's pardon, many are wondering how the current sheriff plans to move forward. As Cronkite News reporter Bridget Dowd tells us, Sheriff Paul Penzone plans to take a very different approach.
After former Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio's criminal contempt of court case was dismissed, current Sheriff Paul Penzone says he's disappointed.
He was, given the freedom without any accountability, whereas we are and will continue to be accountable because that's the right thing to do. So as the sheriff, when I look at that and I say we should all be treated equally under the law, there's a circumstance where many could argue that wasn't the case.
Penzone says part of the reason he wanted to run for sheriff was because he was unhappy with what he saw Arpaio doing. He wants to reassure people that racial profiling and discrimination by officers will not be tolerated.
We will not be engaged in immigration enforcement. Not only is it prohibited by the court orders, but it's not our primary responsibility. It's not our job. We have to enforce the laws in the state to keep everyone safe, regardless of who you are, where you come from. No different than our uniform, the color of it, or who we are, where we came from should not be a factor. It should be about enforcing the laws, being constitutional, being law-abiding before you are law enforcing, and to be an extension of the community at large.
Penzone's office is still embroiled in the 2013 racial profiling court case in which deputies were found to be targeting Latinos in traffic stops.
I think that the actions were in response to practices by my predecessor that were unethical and unlawful. We're doing everything within our powers to collaborate with the ACLU and the DOJ and the courts. We are law-abiding and we are dedicated to owning this responsibility and overcoming it.
Penzone says the employees MCSO hires should be just as diverse as the citizens they serve.
We're just looking on a broader scale to be more strategic in our effort to reach out to communities that maybe in the past have been neglected. We haven't paid enough attention that there are talented people who have an interest in becoming detention officers or deputies. There's a career for everyone, whether it is, you're a CPA, whether you want to work as a dispatch, or whether you want to work in some form of administration. There's plenty of opportunity, but this organization has to reflect the community we serve. So we have to do a better job of recruiting across the board to everyone and then find talent in every community.
Penzone also says he believes there's a major divide right now between law enforcement officers and the community they serve. And the first step?
We have to be engaged. We have to be patient and listen to learn. And we also have to find ways to educate our community on the challenges we face, not only crimes that could affect them, but as law enforcement professionals, the challenges that we face so that we can be better at our job, because it has to be a shared relationship.
In Phoenix, Bridget Dowd, Cronkite News.
For more on our interview with Sheriff Penzone, visit cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Members of Congress, Capitol Hill Police, and former NFL stars came together last night for a game of football. Fraser Allen Best has a story from Washington.
Shedding their suits, ties, and partisan stripes, members of Congress donned jerseys and cleats Wednesday for a fierce but friendly game of touch football against the Capitol Police. Arizona Congresswoman Martha McSally was among them, eager for kickoff.
So this is the culmination of weeks and weeks of practice early in the morning, out there on the field in rain and sunshine.
The game has been played since 1998, but this year is different. The day comes less than 4 months after House Majority Whip Steve Scalise was shot at a baseball practice for another congressional charity game. Halftime recognized the bravery of Crystal Griner and David Bailey, two Capitol officers who responded to the attack.
Please accept these autographed footballs.
To see Steve Scalise and Crystal and David here, it's just awesome. I mean, it's a miracle they're all alive. And because of Crystal and David, it's a miracle that so many people are alive. Members, everybody was out there that day.
But there was still another half of the football game to be played.
Yeah, I mean, we still want to win, don't get me wrong. But we're really grateful for the Capitol Police.
Going into the fourth quarter, the lawmakers were only trailing 7-0. Former Cardinals linebacker Ken Harvey remained optimistic from the sidelines.
We're holding them with all the turnovers, everything that we've had. We're still holding them.
But as the clock hits 0, the score stays the same. McSally is happy to have come together, but stays eager to settle the score.
It was a great cause, great game, great camaraderie, good competition. You always want to win, though, so we'll be back in 2 years.
Cronkite News, Fraser Allen Best, Washington.
With midterm elections shuffling the congressional lineup, we can expect a rematch in 2019.
Furniture superstore IKEA is setting up shop in Glendale.
And other furniture stores are bracing for the competition. Coming up on Cronkite News, the economic impact the Swedish store could have in the West Valley.
And a warning for older Arizonans, how scammers are targeting senior citizens.
When a story comes in the morning, we're out the door as fast as we can go.
But it's also great to spend more time in communities and produce projects.
From the borderlands to the cities, the reservations, and even the state capitol, we want to get to the heart of the matter.
When the lights come on in the studio, we know our hard work is about to pay off.
We love what we do here at Cronkite News.
We're proud to tell the stories of our state.
Now more than ever, it's important to have a trusted news source, and that's Cronkite News.
I'm Ted Simons, host and managing editor of Arizona Horizon. Join us each weekday at 5:30 and 10 as we bring you the top newsmakers who impact the state. We cover the stories in depth that shape and affect our local communities, and we take the time to ensure that all voices are equally heard. For more than 30 years, Arizona Horizon has been your voice and your source for what matters most, right here on Arizona PBS.
Governor Doug Ducey traveled across the pond today of an Arizona Cardinals game outside London.
But the governor isn't just talking football. He's meeting with business and tourism leaders as well. Ducey says he's setting Arizona up to compete on the global market. The state exported more than $850 million in goods, including aircraft components, copper electronics, and military hardware to the UK just last year.
Glendale will soon be home to another IKEA that's expected to stir up competition in the furniture business.
Cronkite News reporter Erica Arrington shows us what economic impact this could have in the West Valley.
An IKEA just like this one in Tempe will be right here below the 101 on Bethany Home Road, just south of the Cardinal Stadium.
With the Swedish furniture store IKEA making its debut in Glendale, expect economic growth and business competition. One competitor, American Furniture Warehouse, is located just on the other side of the Loop 101.
It would be a boon to those complementary businesses, that'd be restaurant and bar, entertainment venues that benefit from a greater density of people would benefit.
Dennis Hoffman says having two furniture stores near each other provides the same benefit for shoppers as a cluster of car dealerships. Comparison shopping is easier when like businesses are in the same neighborhood. Shopper Julie Severson says even though people will be checking out the new store, she believes American Furniture can keep their customer base.
If American Furniture stays more customer-oriented and they do have products that are made in the USA, they would definitely get my business and a lot of my friends and family, because that's kind of how we roll.
Hoffman says that American Furniture has more traditional products while IKEA has more contemporary and affordable designs, which will draw different kinds of customers.
Competitors, furniture store competitors, of course, would feel the competition. But again, IKEA is really kind of a niche to its own. So it's pretty easy, it would seem to me, to differentiate oneself.
Hoffman says that as the city of Glendale continues to grow, more pressure will be put on the roads and other infrastructure. In Glendale, Erica Arrington, Cronkite News.
The new IKEA is expected to break ground next fall and be open in the spring of 2020.
Senior citizens are often targeted by financial scammers because of a lack of income, failing memory, and social isolation can put them at risk.
Those were the findings of a new report from the Arizona Public Interest Research Group. Cronkite News reporter Trevor Fay has details from our Washington bureau.
Mike Litt of the Public Interest Research Group says Arizona ranks 10th in the nation for consumer complaints from older citizens to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
Older Arizonans are targeted by financial scammers because of their life savings, their Social Security benefits, home equity. They might also be at risk because of things that can come naturally with old age, like memory loss, which makes you vulnerable to false advertising and confusing terms.
As of July, when the PIRG looked at the numbers, mortgages, credit reports, and debt collection are the areas that are most often the target of complaints from older Arizonans to the CFPB.
Mike Litt says older Arizonans stand to lose everything from their life savings to even their homes if not protected from financial scammers. That's why he and the Public Interest Research Group are fighting Congress, trying to prevent them from what they say would be dismantling the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
Specifically, they hope to block Senate passage of the Financial Choice Act of 2017. The bill, which passed the House this summer, would repeal provisions of the Consumer Protection Act, including doing away with the CFPB. But the bill's supporters say it would eliminate burdensome regulatory agencies like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Bill co-sponsor, Arizona Congressman Paul Gosar, said at the time that he supports a full repeal of the CFPB in its current form. Gosar argues no government agency should be above reproach or remain exempt from vigorous oversight from members of Congress. In Washington, Trevor Fay, Cronkite News.
The League of American Bicyclists ranks Arizona as the 19th most bike-friendly U.S. city in its most recent study.
But biking through the state can put a lot of wear and tear on your bike. Coming up on Cronkite News, we visit a local shop that turns bike repair into an opportunity to learn.
And more on weekend temperatures and your full 7-day forecast coming up next.
Tickets are now available for the annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon, held Thursday, October 19 at the Sheraton Grand Phoenix. Join media industry and community leaders in honoring award-winning co-anchors and co-managing editors of the PBS NewsHour, Judy Woodruff and the late Gwen Ifill. To learn more or to purchase tickets, call 602-496-0482 or visit cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon.
Officially from 36, and he hooks it in. Arizona State wins. Keeping one deep, and it is caught. Jalen Strong. Do you
believe it? What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
We recycle trash, so why not bikes? A new shop in Mesa teaches cyclists of all ages how to repair, maintain, and recycle bicycles. Reporter Emily Richardson gives us a spin around the new location.
He's been helping me with my bike, and he's been telling me what to do, and I've been doing it. It helped me learn how to fix bikes.
And that's one of the goals of WeCycle.
WeCycle is a community bike shop, nonprofit, recycling bicycles for kids and adults in need.
Founder Robert Chacon started this organization while working in vocational rehabilitation. He saw that the people he helped get jobs had transportation issues. He began fixing bikes out of his garage to give to them. When his garage couldn't fit any cars because of how many bikes he had, he decided to open this shop.
It's more than just a bike shop. We don't sell bikes. We don't have bikes, with parts and all this stuff like a bike shop. We're just open to the public so they can come in and work on their bikes. So it's a good thing to teach people how to fix their own bicycles.
And Chacon wants them to learn how at a young age.
We try to teach the kids responsibility. We try to teach them recycling. We try to teach them that bicycles are a viable form of transportation.
Leonel Puga came in with his brother. They had their eyes on 2 bikes that needed some work.
I saw a bike and I really liked it.
All the Puga boys needed to do was put in the work to get them road ready.
My favorite part is really just teaching the kids.
And for adults in need of wheels, all it takes is 8 hours of volunteering. Chacon is motivated to help anyone who has a desire to ride, no matter what age.
I had a 90-year-old grandmother come in to get her great-grandkids' bikes, but she had never ridden a bike before. She had never owned a bike or ridden a bike. And I fixed her a bike and I taught her how to ride a bike.
In Mesa, Emily Richardson, Cronkite News.
If you would like to donate to WeCycle or would like to learn how to work on your bike, the shop is located on Main Street in Mesa.
And if you want to take your newly fixed bike out for a spin, you want the weather to be perfect.
Holly Bach is tracking our weekend forecast. Holly, do we have some good biking weather in store?
It's actually perfect weather out there to go outside and go get a bike ride. It's currently 93 degrees here in Phoenix. Sunny skies and humidity nice and low at 19%. Looking around the state of Arizona, we see temperatures in the Grand Canyon at 91 degrees, Show Low at 93, and down south in Tucson at 93 degrees. Looking around the valley, we're seeing temperatures still pretty warm out there. 91 degrees in Scottsdale, 93 here in Phoenix, and Laveen at 93 as well. These temperatures are going to go down throughout the evening. We're going to see temperatures in the high 70s to low 80s. 82 will be our Phoenix temperature, Scottsdale at 79, and Cave Creek at 75. Going into our weekend, we're going to see temperatures in the mid to high 90s. Friday at 94 degrees, Saturday at 93, and Sunday at 96. Throughout the week, we're going to see similar temperatures. Tuesday at 97, Wednesday at 93, and Thursday we're going to see some scattered clouds out there, bringing our high to 86 degrees. I'm Holly Bach from the Weather Center.
Hispanic Heritage Month is coming to an end.
And after celebrating their culture, community members take time to reflect. Coming up on Cronkite News, what it means to be Hispanic in today's political climate.
Show where we tackle the taboo and debate the tough questions with some of the most interesting minds in the game. I'm Carlos Watson. Electrifying conversation. Friday, only on PBS.
Hello from the children of planet Earth.
Human beings are a curious bunch.
What are we going to see when we get really close?
Wow. Oh my God, absolutely spectacular.
We are at a remarkable moment.
We're going farther than any exploration ever has.
Hispanic Heritage Month, a time to celebrate the cultural contributions Hispanic and Latino Americans make, is coming to a close this weekend. Cronkite News reporter Courtney Malley made a stop by Tour de Hispanica to discuss what it means to be Hispanic in 2017.
The Programming and Activities Board at Arizona State University's downtown campus hosted Tour de Hispanica, an event to highlight Hispanic and Latino heritage in Arizona, with food, dancing, and people of all ages coming together to participate in this Hispanic tour. ASU makes efforts to shine light on all cultures.
It's important for the Programming and Activities Board to put on these types of events because we often celebrate a lot of different things, but Hispanic Heritage Month, it's not often celebrated as much as Black History Month or Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
The intent of tonight was to advocate, educate, and celebrate Hispanic culture here in the Valley.
The focus is not only on past accomplishments, but also looks to the future for what it means to be Hispanic in the current political climate.
It's important to learn about Hispanic culture and Hispanic Heritage Month because a lot of us recognize that currently we're being used as a scapegoat and like a political tool to elevate one's power. And so for me, being here creates a stance that we're here, we're existing, we're living, we're breathing. We won't let those political comments deter us in what we're celebrating.
I don't necessarily think it's important to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month just because of the political heat. I think it was already important to celebrate. But I think now it's more important just because we need to hold on to who we are and remember where we're from and not let go of that just because of social changes or political ideologies that are becoming popular.
Those who attended the event also say they're proud of their Hispanic and Latino backgrounds and look forward to the future. In Phoenix, Courtney Malley, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, a new agreement with Mexico could help boost water levels at Lake Mead. And how does Arizona fare nationally when it comes to exercise? Those stories on the next Arizona Horizon.
I'm Judy Woodruff on the next NewsHour. How the Trump administration is trying to change Obamacare without Congress. That's Thursday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.